Hey everyone, in this video today I'm going to be giving y'all a brief tutorial on how to apply our Commando helmet decals. We do already have some existing tutorials that'll help with decals in general, so I'm not going to cover the process of applying things like torsos, legs, and arms. But since this Commando helmet is a new design, I am going to make a tutorial specific to applying this helmet. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and get the decals cut out. I'm going to fast forward through this and I'll be right with you. Alright, so I've got each of the helmet pieces cut out now. So as you can see, I'm cutting as close to the design as I can without actually cutting into the design itself. You want to minimize as much of the white border as possible, as anything that is showing up white is going to be just excess decal material that will be stuck on your piece, and it can throw off alignment of things. One exception to that, I will say, is that for the Commando faceplate with these two lines, you do want to give a little bit of white space on the edges of those, because if you try to cut right up to the black line, it's going to result in a very thin decal that will likely bend and fold as you try to get it applied. And now one other thing I will say is that with the Commando faceplate, so these two little circle pieces are going to go on the sides of the helmet here, and now I do have the decal set up to where you can apply it as a single decal and get those circles both aligned in the right spot. However, I would recommend doing them separately, and that's actually what I'm going to do in this video here, because by applying these circles separately, you can help get the faceplate aligned better, as if you're trying to do everything at once, sometimes you do run into an issue of the decals folding in upon themselves. So what I like to do, and what I'm going to do here, is apply these separately, but they are combined into one piece on the decal sheet to give you the option of however you would prefer. So now the faceplate is actually the decal that we're going to start with. Now all of our Commando decals are made for this helmet, which is currently only available through our site. These blank Commando helmets are only $1 each. And the Commando design that I'm doing today for you is the 501st Commando. We have a whole bunch of other Commando designs already, a bunch of different Legion designs, as well as the Delta Squad and the Hope Squad. Now I will say, for the Commando face piece, these lines can be very tricky. What I would recommend doing is sliding the decal directly onto the piece to minimize the chances of those black lines folding in on themselves. So if you do it slowly, you can get the black lines to just lay straight down onto the piece, and you don't have to worry about them flopping around if you just tried to pull the decal completely off the backing paper. Alright, so we've got the toughest part out of the way, which is getting that faceplate aligned. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush on some micro sol and then give it another good press to hopefully get the decal firmly set in place, and then we'll start working on some of the other pieces. Alright, so next up, let's knock out the mouthpiece. Now, for all of our Commando designs, there is a separate piece that's going to go down here to give you the detailing and that indentation, and to also connect to the upper portion of the mouth. Now, the 501st design does have a little bit of detailing that also is going to come up onto the chin area. Some of the other Commandos you may come across will have a slightly different pattern. But in general, you're usually going to have a piece that's going to come sit down on the lower part of the helmet here, and you're going to want to align that with the upper part of the mouth. Okay, so that actually went pretty smoothly. Got that put into place, and again, I'm going to brush on a bit of micro sol. So as you can see, the mouth, the bottom piece of the mouth is going to align to give it the full effect. Next up, let's go ahead and do this top dome piece. Not all Commandos have it, but some of them do. The 501st Commando does have this stripe that's going to go over the dome, and then the side of the stripe with a little cutout piece is going to sit over this rounded piece on the back of the helmet. Alright, so as you can see, we got the piece put into place. And now with these stripes, you are often going to have a little bit of creasing running along the edges of those. And you can usually smooth that out by pressing firmly with the sponge. But to help, I do like to use, again, micro saw. So I'm going to brush a bit of that on there, and then I'm going to give it another press with the sponge to hopefully smooth all those creases out of the piece. Alright, so as you can see, we knocked a lot of those creases out, and the helmet is looking very smooth. So the final step is going to be to put those little circles on. And now again, you can do it all in one piece, but it's going to make it fairly difficult, so I do recommend doing it separate. And so you're just going to align each of those onto these small circles on the sides of the helmet. Okay, so we've got both of those pieces centered. You do want to be very careful when applying those so you don't mess up any of the other parts of the decal. Fortunately, I didn't mess anything else up, so the helmet should be good to go. And again, I am going to brush a bit of micro saw onto those two little ear pieces, give them another good press, and now the final step is just to seal the helmet. But this is the final rendition of the 501st Clone Commando helmet. If you have any other questions about applying the Commando decals, just let me know in the comments below. And thank you for watching.